Yo. What it do, young fools? How we feeling today? I hope we feeling good. We here, first reaction video. We here with, damn, what's the video called? We here with the biggest fraud of Henry Danger. Let's get into it.
No, Captain Man.
I did not think this was gonna happen.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
Wakey, wakey.
Yo, welcome. Or if you're back again, welcome again. In today's video, we are going over the world and characters of Henry Danger. But out of all the characters, I have a specific one that we're gonna focus on today. And it's this goofball, Captain Man. Now, don't get me wrong, Captain Man is my favorite character from Henry Danger, but there's been multiple times where this man has put Charlotte, Jasper, and Henry in danger. And not gonna lie, it's mainly Henry, because I mean, he is his literal sidekick, but still, this doesn't excuse Captain Man's behaviors. And this sometimes makes me think, is he even a good superhero? Because a lot of the time when he quote-unquote saves the day, this man leaves complete destruction behind. And we know damn well he's not paying for these damages. I also feel like Captain Man puts unnecessary stress on Henry. Like this man has to handle work life, school life, and family life, and he's not even a grown man. And heavy on family life because he had to deal with Piper in the first couple of seasons. Also, can we talk about how Piper had a thing for Kid Danger? This is her brother, and she didn't even find this out until season 5. Like, gang, who is writing these shows? But yeah, all of this I will be covering in this video. It's mainly gonna be Captain Man focused because honestly, he is a bad superhero at times, I'm not gonna lie. And he's kind of a bad role model for some of the other characters as well. So sit back, relax, get a snack, and let's get right into the video. At the very start of Henry Danger, Henry got introduced to Captain Man, but it was low-key in the goofiest way possible. Henry was looking for a job to make money after school. Charlotte then did some research and found a place called Junk and Stuff that was hiring. Now I have 2 questions about this place. One, the website says that it needs no special skills. Like, are y'all just hiring anybody? And 2, Henry is literally 13. Like, how is it even possible for him to get this job to begin with? But anyways, Henry goes to Junk and Stuff, and this shop looks sketchy as hell. They have burping plants in here. Like, where do you even get an item like this? And then the owner of the store, aka Gooch, which is a diabolical name, said that Henry needed to go to the back of the store and go down the elevator for his job interview. Honestly, Henry really wanted this job because I would have been left because the vibe of this story is just straight up throwing me off, gang. But yeah, Henry goes in the elevator and it seems normal at first, and then this man pressed the down button and ends up falling like 40 stories. Like, I deadass don't know how he survived this fall. And honestly, Captain Man, because how are you hiring people and they're falling 40 stories to meet you for an interview? Nigga cares about nobody's safety. Also, this nigga is just jamming out, completely unaware of his surroundings. Like, how are you a superhero and you're getting caught lagging like this, gang? But fast forward a little bit, and Henry ends up talking to Ray, aka Captain Man, and Captain Man ended up giving him the job and making him his sidekick. He also told Henry to never tell anybody that he's Kid Danger, and if he does do that, he will no longer be Ray's sidekick. And this is where Henry's life changes completely. He ends up doing his first off-screen mission with Captain Man, and Henry's parents literally saw him on the news, but didn't even think or second guess that that could be their son. Like, y'all see this man every day. There's no way. And then on top of that, Henry comes back home and he looks like he got in a literal fight. And they just ask him how was work. Like, are we actually for real? But yeah, Henry being Kid Danger ends up becoming very important in his life to the point where he's already dreaming of missions with Captain Man. In his dream, they went to help a store owner who was getting robbed. But instead of actually locking in and getting the job done, this nigga Captain Man is trying to test out his aura.
Strike 3.
That was only 2.
Okay, don't correct me in front of the criminals.
Like, if you don't get your goofy ass on and do your job, my boy.
That's funny, bruh. Bruh, Kid Danger's just sitting there. Captain Man just trying to be all orphan with just look cool, bruh.
Later
That's
on, he
frying
does
me.
lock in, but he ends up damaging the entire store. And
Nah,
he's
they
allowing
break the
Henry to do the
whole
same thing
store,
he's doing.
bruh.
After the mission
They
ended,
wrecked the
Henry
whole
ended up waking up from his dream in class. And the teacher ended up waking him up by giving him a wet willy. Like, how are you even allowed to do this? Get
Nah,
her
getting a
ass
wet
gone
willy by
immediately.
a
But yeah,
teacher
all of this is not even
diabolical.
Henry's fault. It seems like the missions that Captain Man is giving Henry is exhausting Henry. And nobody at Henry's
Yeah, he ain't
age should
getting
have this many responsibilities. Like, this is too much for him. Henry ends up getting sleep later in the episode, but Captain Man ruins that for Henry by breaking into his window. And then he starts complaining to Henry, telling him that he had to do a solo mission by himself and that he needed help.
I called you 90 minutes ago and I told you we had an emergency.
I guess I fell asleep.
And when he said this, I thought to myself, how the hell were you saving the day before you hired Henry? Not gonna lie, it's low-key giving fraud. Low-key. All I gotta say is Batman would never. But anyways, Henry starts to explain his issue of being exhausted to Captain Man. And Captain Man ended up having a solution for him. And he told him to meet him at the headquarters the next day. But while he was telling Henry this, he ends up noticing a picture of Henry's mom
Bro,
and
he's
starts
so
asking
obsessed with
Henry
his
if
mom.
she's still married. The disrespect is actually crazy. Like, how are you gonna hit on your sidekick's mom, dog? And on top of that, his thirsty ass tried to take the picture with him. Actual diabolical words.
Like,
The
what
next
was he
day
gonna
rolls
do with that
around
picture?
and Captain Man ended up putting this device on Henry's head that basically downloads all the stuff he needs to learn into his brain. And this was for his schoolwork, so he could have better time management. But when they turned it on, it did not seem like a good experience for Henry. It looked like this man was getting electrocuted. And knowing Captain Man, I really don't think he cared about the safety of the device. He just cared about what it does. And honestly, the device does work. And Henry ended up passing his exam. But the only side effect was it kind of messed up his speech for a little bit. And not gonna lie, that is kind of cooked. Like, I know Captain Man meant well, but you gotta be for real. A side effect like this is actually pretty bad. And this really shows Captain Man's immaturity. When it comes to really important things, he doesn't really check through on them unless it's directly affecting him. For example,
Yeah.
when Charlotte
He
ended
a
up
little
finding out that
selfish.
Henry was Kid Danger, he temporarily ended up firing Henry and really didn't care about Henry's explanation. He only cared about Henry leaking the fact that he was Kid Danger and that he was Captain Man. And in return, this made Henry feel horrible. Like, I understand he made a
Start
promise
listening
not
to
to say
jazz.
anything, but Charlotte is smart. So of course, over time, she was gonna find out that Henry was Kid Danger. Also, it's just too much pressure on Henry. I feel like Captain Man should have just gave him a break. Because in that entire episode, Henry was just dealing with straight bullshit, especially from his sister. She was the worst this episode.
Nah,
Davis.
Piper was always
Duh!
awesome.
I bought it off her. Henry!
Like, I don't know how he deals with this. But yeah, by the end of this episode, Charlotte ends up helping Henry find like a mission to do by himself, basically to prove that he's still good enough to be Kid Danger. And after Henry saved the day, Captain Man ended up rehiring Henry. And he ended up hiring Charlotte. So what was even the point of making this a big deal? Because this whole thing didn't even teach Henry a lesson. And honestly, there's really no lesson to be taught. Henry really didn't do anything bad. And Charlotte finding out that he's Kid Danger really wasn't even his fault. And he literally just made Henry feel shitty for no reason. Which honestly is very selfish. Like I said a bit ago, Captain Man only fully cares about Henry when it comes to his Captain Man identity. That's the only time he actually locks in. But when it comes to Captain
that's
Man
facts.
protecting Henry from dangerous situations, he's never fully locked in. In an episode called Indestructible Henry Part 1, Captain Man and Kid Danger got called to a shop. And when they got there, the shop owners pretty much told them that somebody planted a bomb in there. So they started searching the whole store looking for this bomb. And they found a bomb, but then they realized they couldn't defuse it. So they just left the bomb in the store and decided to run out. Superheroes. Like, Captain Man,
Nah.
honestly,
Nah, they left the store to get blown up. When you realize Captain Man is indestructible, so he could have laid on top of the bomb and just took it. But they just left and let everything just Detonate.
actually be a fraud. But yeah, as they were running out, this man Henry forgets his phone. And instead of Captain Man putting his foot down and not letting Henry go back into the store with an active bomb, he just allows Henry to do it. And then Henry runs in the store, gets the phone, and starts saying, I got the phone. Like, my nigga, run out the store. The bomb is literally going to blow up. And that's exactly what happened. Captain Man is honestly so lucky that Henry somehow survived this explosion.
know how
but
he
he
survived
did
that.
get injured though. Captain Man is actually so irresponsible for this. Later on, Henry comes up with the idea that he wants to be indestructible like Captain Man. So he wanted to use the same machine that made Captain Man indestructible. And when Captain Man heard this, it seemed like he was hating on that idea. It also seemed like he wanted to gatekeep the machine that gave him his powers. Like, why are you trying to gatekeep something that would keep Henry safe? I understand there is side effects from this machine, which he explains in this episode, but let's be for real. Captain Man usually does not care about side effects, so why does he care now? But he does end up taking Henry and Charlotte and Schwoz to this device, and he starts showing them all the side effects, and then he leaves them with Schwoz and the machine. And Schwoz pretty much explained that the people that had the severe side effects were all adults, and since Henry wasn't an adult, Schwoz was saying that the side effects might not be as bad for him, and the device might end up working on him the same way it did for Captain Man. So they ended up trying the machine on Henry, and it seemed to work. And the first test to see if he was indestructible was Charlotte slamming a literal vase into his head. So technically, if he wasn't indestructible, he would have been on the floor, knocked out. But yeah, everything was working good, except for one side effect, which is that he laughs fire. That is honestly the most random side effect of all time. But yeah, Captain Man ends up
that's not
finding
really
out that
something you can
Henry
keep on
is
the low,
indestructible, but in the worst way ever. In part 2 of this episode, Captain Man ended up calling Henry to junk and stuff, and Henry and Charlotte wanted to show Captain Man Henry's new ability through like a joke or like a prank. So when they got there, Captain Man was showing Henry and Charlotte this cannon, and Charlotte asked what the chain on the cannon does, and Captain Man plays with the chain and accidentally shoots the cannon, and it ended up hitting Henry dead in his chest.
Henry!
And this made
How did his shoe get right beside him? Like, did it like just fly off and just land beside him? How did
the
that
man
work?
think Henry was unalive. Now, there's a couple of things about this scene that I have to go over. I know Charlotte and Henry set up the prank, but it wasn't like a prank where like Henry fell or Charlotte hit Henry with something. Like a prank they have full control over. This man, Captain Man, literally shot a cannon at Henry's chest, and he had no clue that this was a prank. Cause you gotta really think about this. What if Henry wasn't indestructible? He would have been done. Also, this is the second time in a 2-part episode where he has literally put Henry in situations where he could have been unalive. Twice. This man is literally the worst mentor
Straight
ever.
up.
And by the way, Henry is getting paid like $9 an hour for this. I would not be doing these type of tasks for $9 an hour. This is a smooth $30 an hour minimum. But yeah, besides Captain Man putting Henry in literal danger, he also invades his privacy and doesn't trust Henry at all. In an episode called Sick and Wired, Captain Man didn't believe that Henry was actually sick, and he thought he was pretending for some reason. So he came up with the idea to put cameras in his house to like see if he's really sick or not. Like, Captain Man, I'm not gonna lie, you're cooked, buddy. You're cooked. Like, I'm sorry, this is not okay. But
What
yeah,
did he have
Charlotte
to
ended up
do with
hearing this whole thing, and she was gonna tell Henry about it. But Captain Man ended up putting Charlotte in one of the tubes in the man cave, and she was stuck in there for
Nah, realistically, what did he do? Like, what did his past, like, did he have past sidekicks or something? Like, did he have past sidekicks that was like, that was just like lying to him or something? Cause like, why he be, like, in some episodes you'd be like, he got a little trust issues.
most of the episode. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Captain Man is genuinely tweaking in this episode. He also then sends Schwoz to pretend that he's a plumber so he can set up cameras in Henry's house. And then Schwoz and Captain Man just ends up watching Henry like he's some type of sitcom. And even when Captain Man is seeing all of Henry's daily activities, he still doesn't think that Henry is actually sick. So he decided that he wanted Jasper to wear a wire because Jasper is obviously close to Henry and Henry would tell him anything. So Captain Man decided to use that to his advantage, and this would determine if Henry was actually sick or not. But before he could orchestrate that whole thing, Charlotte ended up getting freed from the tube, and she ended up telling Henry about Captain Man's plan. So Henry decided to troll the entire time, and he was just straight up rage baiting Captain Man.
I was faking. I knew it!
Like, look how mad he is. He's an actual goofball, man. Like, no way you actually did all of this just to prove if your sidekick was sick or not. Like, this is not normal. I don't even know what even made him think of this idea. Like, you have to really sit here and process this whole thing. Like, imagine a nigga doesn't show up to work, so the boss sets up cameras all in his house to spy on him, and then wires up his best friend just to see if the dude is lying about not going to work. This is honestly diabolical. But like I said, Captain Man isn't like a completely evil dude. I just think he's super immature. And none of this for me takes away from the fact that he's still a funny character. Cause I'm not gonna lie, this pregnancy episode was too funny. This man was literally crashing out to the fullest extent. He was a dickhead in this episode, but I'll give him the pass cause bro was pregnant. And now that I think about it, that has to be the weirdest episode in Henry Danger. Like, there was no plot in that episode. There was literally nothing happening other than the fact that he got pregnant after eating an alien egg. But yeah, back on Captain Man, he does have his flaws, and it does make his character suck a lot sometimes. But when you look at the bigger picture of the show, all the characters are just all over the place. Like, literally every character in this show is just super exaggerated, like their personalities. And as far as Captain Man being an actual good superhero, I don't think he's a real superhero, bro. I'm gonna be honest. It's honestly like a cosplay for him. Like, I understand he does have like that indestructible power and stuff like that. Like, he does have powers, but when it comes to actually saving the day for real most of the time, it's like a 50-50. Sometimes he can do it and sometimes he doesn't. So low-key, I still do think he's a fraud. And he just puts Henry in so many dangerous situations. But at the end of the day, when Captain Man does have to lock in, he kind of does, but it's never 100% guaranteed. But yeah, this is the end of the video. I will be making a second Henry Danger video, mainly just discussing how strange this show is.
Nah, this show was a little odd, but like growing up as a kid, like just watching all the episodes live, you know what I'm saying, when they come on, well, it was Nickelodeon, when it come on Nickelodeon, back on the cable, you know what I'm saying, where you had to wait for, you know what I'm saying, certain times, and the show to come on, like, each episode day by day. Like, yo, this show was hilarious, and I still watch this show, you know what I'm saying, till this day, I watch this show. Like, it's actually pretty good, you know what I'm saying, it's funny, you know what I'm saying, whenever you're bored, or not, but, like, do any of y'all, like, watch the, what's it called? The new show with the kids with superpowers that accidentally, from, like, the movie or John. Y'all watch that? Y'all let me know in the comments, because I don't know if y'all watched that, because I didn't. I think I watched, like, a couple episodes, but, like, it wasn't as good. But, you know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe.
Right. My AI just changed. You just buzzed the front gate. Thank God you came. How many more days could I wait?